So, good day everyone. We will be discussing the chapter 3, propagation error. So, by the way, I am Pearljan BUC, and this topic is essential in scientific and engineering discipline because most calculation are based on the measure quantities such as mass, length, and time. No, so in measurement, it is a foundational activity in this field because in understanding how the error results are crucial for ensuring the accurate and reliable conclusion. So, measurement, it contains error, meaning the value we record is never exactly the true value, no? Yan po, no? And this error, it is a propagate or a carry through when we are use this measurement in the calculation, no? So the process of determining the how these errors is affect our final result is called the error propagation. So now let's proceed to the measurement error, no? So imagine a geologist is weighing a rock on a scale. She weigh the rock 5 times and obtain the following measurement in grams, no? So the collected values are 251.3 to 52.5 to 50.8 to 51.1 and to 50.4. So their values are not the same and probably none of them is the true mass, no? This is a real world example measurement error that every measurement tool has its limitation, no? And even the environment, no, such as the vibration, no? Example, temperature can introduce variation. So measurement error, it consists of two parts, the systematic error or the bias in the random error, no? So when we say systematic error or bias, it consistent error present in the measurement. While in random error, it is the fluctuating error that varies between measurements and average out to zero over time. And some error source, it contribute both bias and random error. Any measurement can be considered to be the sum of the true value plus the contribution from each of the two components of error. So, measurement quality has two key aspects, the accuracy and precision. So, when you say accuracy, it determines the bias, which is the difference between the mean measurement and the true value. Second is the unbiased measurement or the precision. No? If the mean equals to the true values, the bias is equals to zero, and the process is considered unbiased. No? And the smaller bias means the higher accuracy. No? So, pag sinabi naman nating precision, it measure how closely repeated measurement agree. High precision means the value are consistent, while the low precision means they vary widely, no? Precision is determined by the standard deviation or sigma, and the smaller sigma means the higher precision, no? Scientists and engineers always sigma random uncertainty and statistical uncertainty. For the summary, as a measured value is random variable with the mean and the standard deviation. No, the bias in the measuring process is the difference between the mean measurement and the true value. No, so the uncertainty in the measuring process is the standard deviation. The smaller the bias, the more accurate in measuring process. No, and the smaller uncertainty, the more precise the measuring process. So, dito naman sa ating figure 3.1, no, sa A po, both bias and uncertainty are small, no? And B is the bias is large, and the uncertainty is small, no? While in C, no, the bias is small and the uncertainty is large, no? And D, no, the both bias and uncertainty are large, no? And proceed to our figure 3.2, we can estimate the uncertainty from the set of repeated measurement, but without knowing the true value, we can estimate the bias. So now, let's proceed to our example 3.1. A laboratory sample of a gas is known to have a carbon monoxide or concentration of a 50 parts per million or ppm. A spectrophotometer is used to take 5 independent measurements of this concentration. The 5 measurements in ppm are 51, 47, 53, 53, and 48. And the question is, estimate the bias in the uncertainty in spectrophotometer measurement. So now let's proceed to our calculation, no, in our sample number 1, no, that kanina nakita po natin, no, na the given true value is 50 ppm or parts per million, no, and the collected value for our measurement to our concentration, no, they obtain, no, 51, 51, 47, 47, 53, 53, and 48, no. So, required, no, ano po ang i-required na determine, no. So, we determine, i-determine po natin kung ano ang bias at ang uncertainty. No, from our previous na mga topic, no, na ating diniscuss, no, nakuhain yung bias and the uncertainty. Now, let's proceed to the calculation. So, ang the bias is equal to the mean minus the true value. That is the equation of bias. So, first, now we are going to calculate the total mean of the following collected values, no. So by the mean, no, natin, no, or pwede man ito na ganito, no, mean. So by the equation of formula niya na x over n, yan po, no, i-apply po natin yan sa ating calculator technique, no. So, first, no, we are going to press na the mode and the 3 and 1. So, then, input the value that we are collected, the 51, no, 51 equals, no, 47 equals 53 equals 48 equals. Then press the AC, no, or CA sa Canon po ito na, no. So after that, no, we're going to press the button of apps, no, apps. Then select 5, no, 5. So nakita po ninyo, no, meron po tayong the total number, no, ng ating data and the mean, and hindi ko lang alam itong ganitong pero ito ang atin standard deviation or our uncertainty, no. Makukuha po natin, no, ang ating mean, no, dito. Ito po yung ating mean. So press number 2, no, and yan, nag-result po siya ng 50.4. So, our mean is equal to 50.4, no, 50.4. So, kung imanumanuhin po natin ito, no, we're going to add both, no, add the collected values 51 plus 47 plus 53 plus 53 plus 48, no, is equals to 252, no, 252. Then over the total number of these data, no, 1 2 3 4 5, no, divide both by 5 and it's obtained, no, divide po natin sa 5, it obtain 50.4. Result din po siya equal po rin siya sa ating 50.4 na ginamitan natin ng Caltech. So now, let's proceed to our nakuha po natin ang ating mean, no? So meron na tayong true value. So makukuha po natin ang ating bias, no, by substituting the value of our mean, no. Ito po is also as mean, no, mean. So mean, so 50.4, no, 50.4 minus the bias, the true value pala, no, na 50, and we obtain the result, no, 0.4. Ito po ang ating bias, no, our bias. Bias natin ito. So paano naman ang ating uncertainty, no, or our uncertainty? We can determine that by the standard deviation, no. So pag sa standard deviation naman po, no, meron po tayong Caltech naman diyan, and na itinuro ng ating professor na si Sir Clarence, no, pass na ating mga topic, no. So yan po, press the apps and press the data, no. Yan po natin data. Next is easy lang po natin. Then so ulitin po natin yung apps, and 5, no, 5. And now dito naman is ang atin naman collect is yung press is yung 4, no, dito sa number. So 4. So it's obtained, no, the value of 2.79, or let's say as let's say it is 2.8, no, random po na round off po natin, no. So 2.8, it is ito po yung ating ppm, yung ating ppm din ito dito, ang ating uncertainty. Yan po ang ating paano kuhain yung uncertainty in the bias, no. So yan po, summary lang po, no. Sa ating question or problems, nabigay po siya ng ating true value ng measurement ng mass ng bawat isa, no, and the collected values in different measurement, no, select. Then ang required po na dapat natin kuhain yung bias in the uncertainty, no. Pagdating sa bias naman po, meron po tayong solution diyan, or formula na kung saan makukuha po natin bias through the mean, through the we subtract the true value, no, true value po ito, true value to the mean, no. Then mean naman, kung maalala po natin, ang mean naman po ay makukuha by the paggamit ng formula ng mean, no, the x over n, or the total number over the n, no, and number of the data we are collected, no. So and that's kind of technique, no, kung paano natin makuha yung bias, and subtract lang po natin, substitute lang po natin at subtract, and we can get the result, no, 0.4. And also the 2.8, no, meron naman pong mga equation na ng standard deviation from the past, no, na mga topic. In ngayon, dahil meron naman po natutunan natin na Caltech, no, para mas madali gamitan po natin ng Caltech, no. Yan po, Caltech. And yan po ang ating solution on how to get the bias in the uncertainty in that particular problems. So next, no, let's proceed to the next example, no. So, example 3.2, a different spectrophotometer is now used to measure the CO concentration in another gas sample. No, the true concentration in this sample is unknown. 5 measurements are made on ppm of the parts per million. They are obtained the 62, 63, 61, and 62 and the 59. So, estimate the uncertainty in the measurement from the spectrophotometer. Then, and the question is, can we estimate the bias? So, now, let's proceed to the calculation. Now, let's proceed to the calculation of 3.2, no? And ito po yung data niya, no? So, parang ang question is estimate the uncertainty in this particular problem, no? So, ito po yung given na mga value, no, ng ating concentration. And now, let's continue, no, paano natin ko ano yung uncertainty, no, is makuha po natin yung standard deviation, na sample standard deviation, no. So, gamitan po natin ng Caltech, no, mode 3.1. We input the value, no, 62, 63, 61, 62, 59. Yan po, kompleto na po. So, apps lang natin, i-apps lang. And piliin natin yung 5. And piliin natin yung 4, no? Yan po ang standard deviation. Mag-equal po yan, no? Sa what? Now, example 3.3, the spectrophotometer is in example 3.1 has been recalibrated, so we may assume that the bias is negligible, and the spectrophotometer is now used to measure the CO concentration in another gas sample. So, the measurement is 55.1 ppm. How much should the measurement be expressed, no? So, example 3.3, no, the last example of our topic, the measurement of error, no. So, from the different repeated measured in example 3.1, the uncertainty in a measurement from this instrument was estimated to be 2.8, no, meters. Now, therefore, we are report that the concentration of CO, or the carbon, in this gas sample is 55.1, and positive and negative 2.8, no. Yan po ang ppm. Yan po ang example 3.3, no. So now that's all in the topic, no, and measurement of error. Now let's proceed to the particular topic that will be discussed by our member of chapter 3, propagation of error. So thank you and God bless.
Good day everyone, I am Hazel Ann Corpus, and today my report is all about the section 3.2, linear combinations of measurements. Uncertainties change when performing arithmetic operations on measurements. Adding constants, multiplying by constants, or combining measurements affects uncertainty. Since measurements are random variables, their uncertainties or standard deviations follow statistical rules for linear combinations of random variables. These principles help compute uncertainties in calculated values. We all know when we measure something, it's never 100% exact. There's always a small error or uncertainty. If we add, subtract, or multiply these measurements, the uncertainties also change. So we need a way to know how big the uncertainty is after we do those operations. So this section helps us correctly calculate the uncertainty when we combine measurements, so that our final results are reliable and accurate. These are the equations used to compute the uncertainties in linear combinations of independent measurements. So let's begin to the example 3.4. The radius of a circle is measured to be 3.0 plus or minus 0.1. Estimate the circumference and find the uncertainty in the estimate.
Solution. First is we need to identify the given. So the radius is equals to 3.0 centimeter. The uncertainty in radius is equals to 0.1, and we all know that the circumference of a circle is equals to 2 pi r. In order to find the circumference of the circle based on the radius given, we just need to substitute the value of r, which is 3.0 centimeter in the equation. And makukuha natin yung sagot na 18.85 centimeter. Next, to find the uncertainty in the estimate, we need to use the equation 3.3. And we just need to substitute the given para makuha yung uncertainty na 0.63 centimeter. So we conclude that the circumference is 18.85 plus or minus 0.63 centimeter.
Next is the example 3.5. An item is formed by placing two components end to end. The lengths of the components are measured independently by a process that yields a random measurement with uncertainty of 0.1 centimeter. The length of the item is estimated by adding the two measured lengths. Assume that the measurements are 4.10 centimeter and 3.70 centimeter. Estimate the length of the item and find the uncertainty in the estimate.
Solution. We need to identify the given first. The length of the first component is equals to 4.10 centimeter. The length of the second component is 3.70 centimeter. And the uncertainty of the first and second component is equals to 0.1 centimeter. To find the estimated length, we need to add the length of the first component and the length of the second component. And the answer is 70.80 centimeter. And next, to find the uncertainty, we need to use the equation 3.4. And by substituting the given in the equation, we get 0.14 centimeter as the uncertainty. So we conclude that the estimated length is 70.80 plus or minus 0.14 centimeter.
Next is the repeated measurements. A key method to reduce uncertainty is averaging multiple independent measurements. These measurements form a random sample and their average is the sample mean. So repeated measurements helps in order for us to get a better result and more accurate result because we need to measure the same thing several times independently. And each time we get a slightly different value because of random errors. Then we find the average or the mean of all those measurements. So in short, taking several measurements and averaging them reduces the uncertainty in your final answer, which gives us a more reliable estimate of the true value. Let's proceed to the example 3.9. The mass of a rock is measured 5 times on a scale whose uncertainty is unknown. The 5 measurements in grams are 21.10, 21.05, 20.98, 21.12, and 21.05. Estimate the mass of the rock and find the uncertainty in the estimate.
Solution. So we need to identify the given. We let x bar as the average of the 5 measurements, and s is the sample standard deviation. The 5 measurements are 21.10, 21.05, 20.98, 21.12, and 21.05. To find the average of the 5 measurement, we need to add the 5 measurement and we divide it by 5. And the answer is 21.06 grams, and that is the estimated mass of the rock. To find the sample standard deviation, we just need to use the equation in the previous topic and substitute the given. And we get 0.0543 grams. So, pwede na nating mahanap yung uncertainty in the estimate using the equation 3.6. Dahil nakuha na natin ang value ng S and N, we just need to substitute it. And we get 0.02 grams. Therefore, the mass of the rock is 21.06 plus or minus 0.02 grams.
Next is the repeated measurements with differing uncertainties. Sometimes repeated measurements may have differing uncertainties. This can happen, for example, when the measurements are made with different instruments. It turns out that the best way to combine the measurements in this case is with a weighted average rather than with the sample mean. This means that some measurements are more reliable and others are less reliable. So instead of just averaging them equally, we use a weighted average. That means we give more weight to the measurement we trust more and less weight to the ones with more uncertainty, which gives us a better and more accurate result. Example 3.11. An engineer measures the period of a pendulum in seconds to be 2.0 plus or minus 0.2 seconds. Another independent measurement is made with a more precise clock, and the result is 2.2 plus or minus 0.1 seconds. The average of these two measurements is 0.1 seconds. Find the uncertainty in this quantity.
Solution. We need to identify the given first. We let x as measurement 1, y is equals to measurement 2, x bar is the average, standard deviation of x is the uncertainty of x, and standard deviation of y is the uncertainty of y. And x is equals to 2.0, the uncertainty of x is 0.2, y is equals to 2.2, and the uncertainty of y is 0.1. The average is equals to 1/2 x plus 1/2 y, which is equals to 2.1 seconds. Next is we can now find the uncertainty in the average. By using the equation 3.4 and substituting the given, we get 0.11 seconds.
Next is the example 3.12. In example 3.11, another engineer suggests that since y is a more precise measurement than x, a weighted average in which y is weighted more heavily than x might be more precise than the unweighted average. Specifically, the engineer suggests that by choosing an appropriate constant c between 0 and 1, the weighted average c times x plus the quantity of 1 minus c times y might have a smaller uncertainty than the unweighted average 1/2 times x plus 1/2 times y considered in example 3.11. Express the uncertainty in the weighted average c times x plus the quantity of 1 minus c times y in terms of c and find the value of c that minimizes the uncertainty.
Solution. First is we need to identify the given. We let standard deviation of x is equals to the uncertainty in x, standard deviation in y is equals to the uncertainty in y, and t is equals to the weighted average. The uncertainty in x is equals to 0.2 seconds. The uncertainty in y is equals to 0.1 seconds. And the weighted average is equals to c times x plus quantity of 1 minus c times y. And we need to find the uncertainty of weighted average in terms of c, the value of c that minimizes the uncertainty, and the minimum uncertainty. To find the uncertainty in the weighted average, we need to use the equation 3.4 and substitute given. And we get the square root of 0.05 times c squared minus 0.02 times c plus 0.01. By taking the square root, we get the uncertainty squared is equal to 0.05 c squared minus 0.02 c plus 0.01. To find the value of c that minimizes the uncertainty, we need to take the derivative of uncertainty squared is equals to 0.5 c squared minus 0.02 c plus 0.01 with respect to c. And we get 0.10 c minus 0.02. And we can now find the value of c, and it is equals to 0.02. Now we can find the most precise weighted average by substituting the value of c. And we get 0.02x plus 0.08y. And by substituting the value of x and y from the example 3.11, we get 2.16 seconds as the most precise weighted average. After finding the most precise weighted average, we can now find the uncertainty in the estimate. By using the equation 3.4 and substitute the given tulad ng ginawa kanina, we can get 0.09 seconds. As we can see, 0.09 is less than the uncertainty of 0.11 found for the unweighted average used in 3.11.
So this is the summary. If x and y are independent measurements of the same quantity with uncertainties of x and y respectively, then the weighted average of x and y with the smallest uncertainty is given by the c best times x plus the quantity of 1 minus c best times y, where c best is equals to the uncertainty of y squared all over the uncertainty of x squared plus the uncertainty of y squared. And 1 minus c best is equals to the uncertainty of x squared all over the uncertainty of x squared plus uncertainty of y squared. Next is the linear combinations of dependent measurements. When measurements are not independent, their uncertainties can be combined normally, and we can use this method when measurements may be dependent to avoid underestimating uncertainty, which gives us a safe upper bound. So this is the formula. If x sub 1 up to x sub n are measurements and c sub 1 up to c sub n are constant, then the uncertainty in linear combination c sub 1 times x sub 1 plus c sub 2 times x sub 2 up to c sub n times x sub n is less than or equal to the sum of the absolute values of the constant c sub 1 times the uncertainty of x sub 1 up to the absolute values of the constant c sub n times the uncertainties of x sub n. So let's proceed to the example 3.13. A surveyor is measuring the perimeter of a rectangular lot. He measures two adjacent sides to be 50.11 plus or minus 0.05 meter and 75.21 plus or minus 0.08 meter. These measurements are not necessarily independent. Find a conservative estimate of the uncertainty in perimeter of the lot.
First is we need to identify the given. We let x sub 1 as the measurement 1, x sub 2 measurement 2, and the standard deviation of x sub 1 is the uncertainty in measurement 1 and the standard deviation on x sub 2 as the uncertainty in measurement 2. And x sub 1 is equals to 50.11 and the uncertainty in x sub 1 is equals to 0.05, x sub 2 is equals to 75.21 and the uncertainty in x sub 2 is 0.08. And we can write the perimeter as 2 times x sub 1 plus 2 times x sub 2. In finding a conservative estimate of the uncertainty in the parameter of the lot, we can use the equation 3.8 and substitute the given, and we get 0.26 meter.
Okay, let's continue with chapter 3.3, uncertainties for function of one measurement. So, you often measuring something like a radius of a circle, then using that measurement to calculate something else like the area. But if there's a little uncertainty in your original measurement, the certainty affects your final result. This section helps you estimate how much uncertainty the result will have using method called propagation of error. The examples you have seen so far involve estimating uncertainties in linear function of measurement. In many cases, we wish to estimate the uncertainty in a nonlinear function of a measurement. For example, if the radius r is a circle is measured to be 5.00 plus minus 0.01 centimeter. What is the uncertainty in the area? So, anong iyang uncertainty in the area in 5.00 plus or minus 0.01 centimeter? In statistical terms, we know that the standard deviation sigma r is 0.01 centimeter, and we must calculate the standard deviation of a, where a is a function of r given by area equals to pi radius squared. The type of problem we wish to solve is this. Given a random variable x with known standard deviation sigma x and giving us function u equals to ux, how do we compute the standard deviation sigma u? If u is a linear function, the method of section 3.2 apply. If u is not linear, we can still approximately sigma u by multiplying sigma x by the absolute value of the derivative du over dx. The approximation will be good so long as sigma x is small. If you have a variable x with some uncertainty sigma x and you calculate a new variable u from x using a function u equals to fx, then the uncertainty in u equal sigma u can be approximated using this formula. Sigma u approximately equal to absolute value of du over dx times sigma x. This is called equation 3.10 and it's the propagation of error for one variable. Ano meaning yan? So, yung sigma x is the uncertainty in your original measurement like the radius. Yung du over dx is how sensitive the function is to changes in x. This is the derivative. So, sigma u is the resulting uncertainty in u after using the function. Take the derivative of your function with respect to your measurement, plug in your measurement, multiplied by the uncertainty, and that gives you uncertainty in the result. Propagation of error uncertainties are only approximate. The uncertainties computed by using equation 3.10 are often only rough approximations. For this reason, this uncertainty should be expressed with no more than 2 significant digits. Indeed, some authors suggest using only one significant digit. Nonlinear functions are biased. If x is unbiased measurement of a true value ux, and if the function u equals to ux is a nonlinear function of x, then in most cases you will be biased for the true value ux. In practice, this bias is usually ignored. It can be shown by advanced methods that in general, the size of the bias depends mostly on the magnitude of sigma x and of the sigma and second derivative du dx. Therefore, so long as the uncertainty sigma x is small, the bias in u will in general be small as well, except for some fairly unusual circumstances when the second derivative is quite large. Of course, if x is a measurement with non-negligible bias, then the bias in u may be large. These ideas are explored further in supplementary exercise 22 at the end of this chapter. Okay, let's have example 3.14. So, the radius r of a circle is measured to be 5 plus or minus 0.01. So, yung r natin is 5 plus or minus 0.01. Estimate the area of the circle and find the uncertainty in this estimate. So, okay. Solution. Palitain natin is yung area. Estimated area of the circle. And relative uncertain in the area. Okay, first step. So, ano yung formula para makuha yung area ng circle? So, ano ngayon? So, A equals to pi r squared. So, plug natin yung 5 cm. So, A equals to pi 5 squared. So, answer niyan is diretso na lang natin. Okay. Sa calculator. Yung pi dito. Yan. Pi 0.05 sorry, 5 rather squared. So, yan. 78.54 centimeter squared. Okay. The radius has uncertainty. So, yung ano niya is equals to yung 0.01 yung ang radius uncertainty. So, okay. Since A equals to pi r squared, the area depends on the square of the radius. That means if the radius changes a little area, changes more, so especially twice as much in relative terms. This is a general rule from error of propagation. So ito yan. So A approximately equal to 2 times R. Yan. So bakit 2? Bakit 2 ginamit natin? So because A equals to pi R squared, and yung 2 is nanggaling yun sa exponent ng R. Yun. Doon nanggaling ang 2. That exponents become a multiplier for relative uncertainty when using a logarithmic or power law error propagation. Okay. Let's continue. So A equals to 2 times, i-plug na lang natin yun. Ano yung uncertainty natin? So, ito yun. 0.1. Yung 5 natin dito. So, equals na lang natin. Direct na lang natin dito. So, yan. 2 times 0.01 5. So, yung answer natin is English na lang natin. Ayan, English na ito. Ayan, transfer lang natin dito. So, A 0.4. Yan. So, gawin na lang natin siyang percentage or 0.4%. Okay. Let's continue. So, A equals to 0.004 times yung 78 natin. Approximately equal to 0.31 cm. So, the final answer is ito na, ganito yung pag-rate ng final answer natin. So, na natin ito. 9 natin yan. So, nakuha natin dito sa area natin kanina. So, 78.5 plus or minus ito, ang next. Yung area 0.31 cm squared. So, yan na ang final answer natin. Okay, let's continue with sample 3.15. Sample 3.15. A rock identified as cobble-sized quartzite has a mass M of 674 grams. Assume this measurement has negligible uncertainty. The volume V of the rock will be measured by placing it in a graduated cylinder partially filled with water and measuring the volume of water displaced. The density D of the rock will be computed as D equals to M over V. Assume the volume of displaced water is 261 plus or minus 0.1 ml. Estimate the density of the rock and find the uncertainty in this estimate. Okay. Let's identify first kung ano yung mga given natin. So, yung mass ng rock, ano yan? 674.0 grams with negligible uncertainty. Volume of displaced water, ano yan? 261 0 plus or minus 0.1 ml. So, ang gamitin natin na formula para mahanap yung density is ito. D equals to M over V. Okay. Let's find the density. So, D equals to yung mass ng rock natin. So, 674 over yung volume ng water natin. So, 261.0. So, answer nyan is, ulit natin, 674 over 261. 2.582. Okay. 2.582. So, yung units natin is gram over ml. Okay, let's use na yung ating formula. So, sigma. So, gawin na natin itong D for the mass. For density. Equals to P over dV sigma V. Excuse me. Okay, first differentiate D equals to M over V with respect to V. So, ito. D over dV equals to negative V squared. So, yan na natin. So, continue. Let's continue. So, D over D dV equals to negative, ano yung mass natin ulit? 674 over yung volume natin 261.0 squared. So, let's solve. Negative 674 261 squared. Wait. Ano ba? Okay, tama. So, gawin na lang natin tong 0.01 grams per ml squared. Okay, let's plug the formula. Sigma D equals to absolute 0.01 so D equals to 0.001 grams per ml. So, yung final natin na answer. So, first, plug in natin ito. Next is ito. Okay? So, final answer is D equals to 2.582 plus or minus 0.001 grams over ml. Okay. Yan yung final answer natin for 3.15. Relative uncertainties for function of one measurement. We have been referring to the standard deviation sigma u of a measurement u as the uncertainty in u. A more complete name for sigma u is the absolute uncertainty because it is expressed in the same unit as the measurement u. Sometimes we wish to express the uncertainty as a fraction of the truth value, which, assumed to bias, is the mean measurement sigma u. This is called the relative uncertainty in u. The relative uncertainty can be also called the coefficient of variation. In practice, since sigma u is unknown, the measured value u is used in its place when computing the relative uncertainty. Okay, summary, absolute versus relative uncertainty. So, absolute uncertainty or sigma u, this is the amount of uncertainty in the measurement expressed with the same unit as the measurement itself. Example is plus minus 0.01 ml. Yung relative uncertainty naman is this tells you how large the certainty is compared to the value being measured. It's given by relative uncertainty equals to sigma u over mu u. Okay, so yung mu u is the true value of the quantity being measured. So, tsaka yung sigma u is the uncertainty in the measurement. This ratio is unitless and often converted into a percentage by multiplying by 100. There are two ways to compute the relative uncertainty in quantity u. One is simply to use equation 3.10 to compute the absolute uncertainty sigma u and then divide by u. To develop the second method, we will compute the absolute uncertainty in ln u. So, sigma ln u equals to derivative of ln u over derivative of u. Sigma u equals to sigma u over u. This equation shows that the value uncertainty in ln u is equal to the relative uncertainty in u. Thus, the second way to compute the relative uncertainty in u is to compute in ln u, and then use the equation 3.10 to compute the absolute uncertainty in ln u. Both of the methods work in every instance, so one way to use whichever is easiest for the given problem. This choice is usually dictated by whether it is easier to compute the derivative of u or of ln u. Okay, let's continue with the example 3.16. Okay, what's the question? So, the radius of the circle is measured to be 5.00 plus or minus 0.01. Estimate the area and find the relative uncertainty in the estimate. So, same lang yung sa kanina sa 3.14, no, yung question. So, pero gamitin natin is yung ln. ln gamitin natin. Ayan. Okay. Okay, how do we solve this? So, first, let's write the given. So, yung given is 5 plus or minus 0.01 cm. Okay, we know naman na para makuha yung radius ay yung area ng circle is pi r squared. So, instead na ito gamitin natin is it can be easier to work with ln a since yung pi naman is an exact constant, di siya uncertainty. So, write natin na paganto. ln a equals to ln pi r squared. So, distribute lang natin yan. ln a equals to ln pi plus ln r squared. So, yung 2, lipat na natin dito. ln pi plus 2 ln r. So, yan na. So, differentiate ln a with respect to r. So, we treat a as a function of r. Differentiating both sides of ln a equals to ln pi plus 2 ln r. With respect to r, so ito na. dr. Derivative natin ito. ln a. Derivative natin to. So, ito, since constant naman to, so 0 lang natin yan. Plus 2 dr ln r. So, matitira na lang is d ln a. Lagay lang natin yung stash, diba? dr equals to wala naman to. So, ang matitira na lang is 2r. Tama ba? Tama. So, gamitin na natin yung formula natin, yung sigma. Pero LNA gamitin natin. Absolute D LNA equals to DR sigma R. So, answer natin dito is equals to 2R QR. Okay, sigma rather. Sigma. But by definition, a small change in LNA corresponds to the relative changes in A. So, kanto na next. D LNA equals to DA. Okay. So, magaganto na siya. A equals to sigma A for A. Ganyan na siya. In other words, ito na lang natin approximately equal to sigma LNA. So, ano na natin, gamitin na natin yung ito, since sigma LNA is equals to 2R, so lipat lang natin dito. So, equals to 2R or now let's plug the numbers. So QA over A equals to 2. Ano yung radius natin kanina is 5, di ba? Times yung 0.01. So itong 0.01 is ito siya. Okay, gets. So equals natin to. So, solve lang natin. So, 2 over 5 times 0.01. Answer is 0.04. 004. So, gawin na lang natin yung percentage. 4%. So, yan na ang answer natin. A equals to 0.4%. Answer. That's the answer for 3.16. Thank you. Okay, let's continue with the last example, 3.17. Okay, the acceleration of a mass down a frictionless inclined plane is given by A equals to G sine theta, where G is the acceleration due to gravity and theta is the angle of inclination of the plane. Assume the uncertainty in G is negligible if theta equals to 0.60 plus minus 0.01 rad. Find the relative uncertainty in A. Sorry. Okay. Ano yung formula binigay sa atin? A equals to G sine theta. So, yung given is G equals to uncertainty negligible. Yung theta natin is 0.60 plus minus 0.01 rad. Tapos, ang hinahanap natin is relative uncertainty. In A. Okay. Step 1. Logarithmic differentiation. To find the relative uncertainty in A, we use sigma A over A equals to sigma LNA. This means relative uncertainty in the value is equal to the absolute uncertainty in its natural log. Because A equals to G sine theta, take the natural log. So, maganda na siya. ln A equals to ln G plus ln sine theta. Since ln G is constant, only ln theta contributes uncertainty. So, okay, so differentiate na natin. So, D ln A derivative of theta, derivative of ln sine theta over d theta. Since ito is magiging cos over sine, yan. Same lang sila ng cos over sine. Since cos over sine is equals to cotangent na lang, no? Gawin na lang natin siya, cotangent. Equals to cotangent theta. So, para mahanap yung wait. Transpose na lang natin to. Yung theta natin is 0.6 kanina, no? So, ito na. Equals to cot 0.6 equals to 1.46. Yan na. Okay. Check natin. Cos over sine. Zero point six. Sine 0.6. Nakalipid ako. Tama ba? Over ayun. Dapat pala no, kailangan natin mag-rad instead na degree. So, yan. 1.46. Okay. Let's continue. So, apply na natin yung yung formula. Formula natin na sigma A over A equals to derivative of ln A derivative of sigma theta. So, equals na natin to. Equals to 1.46 kanina dito. Since ito equals to ganda na naman, okay. Na lang times 0.01 okay, so natin 1.46 times 0.01 0.0146 kita ba? 46. So gawin na lang natin siyang 1.5%, no? Round off na lang natin. Okay, yan yung answer natin for the sample 3.17. Okay, thank you.
So, good day everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about the uncertainties for functions of several measurements. So, often we need to estimate a quantity as a function of several measurements. Like, for example, we might measure the mass and volume of a rock and compute the density as D equals M divided by V, or D equals to M over V. So when estimating a quantity based on multiple measurements, each measurement may have its own uncertainty. When we have several independent measurements, x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3 to x sub n, with associated uncertainties sigma x sub 1, sigma x sub 2, so on so forth, and we want to find the uncertainty in a function u equals to u quantity of x sub 1, x sub 2 up to x sub n, the formula for the estimation is the uncertainty in u is approximately equal to the square root of the sum of the squares of the partial derivatives of u with respect to each measurement x sub 1 multiplied by the uncertainty in each measurement of uncertainty associated in measuring x sub 1. So as shown in the picture, that's our formula given to solve the problem that we'll going to solve in the next slide. So our first problem is, assume the mass of a rock is measured to be m equals to 674 positive negative 1 gram, and the volume of the rock is measured to be V equals to 261 positive negative 0.1 ml. Estimate the density of the rock and find the uncertainty in the estimate. So to solve our example number 1, first we need to put all the given. So given. First, the mass of the rock. M is equals to 674.0 positive negative 1.0 grams. Next is the volume of the rock. V equals to 261.0 positive negative 0.1 ml. So first we need to find the density of the rock with the formula of D is equals to M over V, that one. So we already have the given, so we'll just substitute it. It will become 674.0 gram over 261.0 ml. So if we'll solve this, the answer is equal to 2.582 gram per ml. After that, after solving the density, we can proceed to finding the partial derivative. First, we'll find the partial derivative for with respect to its mass. So the formula, T over N, formula is 1 over V. We'll just substitute it. 1 over 261.0 ml. The answer is 0.0383 ml raised to negative 1. Next, we'll solve the partial derivative with respect to volume. So, next naman is with respect to volume. So, the formula is negative M over V squared equals to, substitute lang po natin ulit, then 674.0 over gram over 261.0 ml squared. So the answer would be negative 0.00987 grams per ml squared. So on to our step 3, or the last step. We'll calculate the uncertainty and density using propagation of error formula. So yung formula is sigma d is equals to square root of partial derivative times sigma m squared plus the partial derivative respect to volume squared. So that's it. So nakuha na rin naman natin yung partial derivative with respect to mass and respect to volume. So we'll just have to substitute the values. So it will be like this. So, with respect to mass, be 0.0383 ml times 10 squared plus negative 0.00987 times 0.1 squared. So the answer, if you calculate this one, the answer or the result would be 0.0040 grams per ml. So the result or the conclusion of the answer would be result B, the density is equals to 2.58 to positive negative 0.004 grams per ml. Next, we'll tackle about the uncertainties for functions of dependent measurements. If x sub 1, x sub 2, up to x sub n are not independent, the uncertainty in a function u is equals to u quantity of x sub 1, x sub 2, up to x sub n can be estimated if the covariance of each pair, x sub I and x sub j, is known. If x sub 1, x sub 2, up to x sub n are measurements whose uncertainties are sigma x sub 1, sigma x sub 2, up to sigma x sub n are small, and if u is equal to u quantity of x sub 1, x sub 2, up to x sub n is a function of x sub 1, x sub 2, up to x sub n, then a conservative estimate of sigma u is given by, next we'll have our formula, which is the sigma u is less than or equal to the absolute value of the partial value of u with respect to x sub 1 multiplied by sigma x sub 1 plus the absolute value of the partial value of u with respect to x sub 2 multiplied by the sigma x sub 2, so on and so forth. So now we'll proceed to our example number 2. Two resistors with resistances R1 and R2 are connected in parallel. The combined resistance R is given by R equals to quantity of R1 multiplied by R2 over R1 plus R2. If R1 is measured to be 100 positive negative 10 and R2 is measured to be 20 positive negative 1, find a conservative estimate for the uncertainty in the total resistance R if R1 and R2 are not known to be independent. So, in order to answer our example number 2, first we'll have the given, which are the given. The sigma r sub 1 is equals to 10. Sigma r sub 2 is equals to 1. So our formula, or the formula that we'll use, is the sigma u is equals to absolute value of the partial derivative with respect to sub 1 times the sigma x sub 1 plus the absolute value of the partial derivative with respect to x sub 2 times the sigma of x sub 2. So first, we'll get this their partial value. So the partial value with respect, first we'll get the partial value with respect to R1. So R equals to R2 is equals to R1 plus R2 squared. So if we substitute the given, which is 1 over R1 is 10 plus R2 squared, the answer would be 0.0278. Next, we'll get the partial derivative with respect to R2 equals to R1 over R1 plus R2 squared. So same lang dito. So the R1 is 10 R1 10 plus 1 squared is equals to 0.694. So we already got the partial value. So substitute lang tayo dito. Substitute na. So we have the sigma u is equals to partial value with respect to R1, which is this one, 0.0278 times yung x1 natin, which is the R1 times 10 plus the partial value with respect to R2, which is this one, so 0.694 times R2, which is 1, and the answer is 0.97, and that would be the final answer.
Okay, good day everyone. Today we're gonna tackle about relative uncertainties of functions of several measurements. In section 3.3, we presented methods for calculating relative uncertainties for functions of one variable. The methods for calculating relative uncertainties for functions of several variables are similar. Okay, there are two methods of approximating the relative uncertainty, which is standard deviation of u with respect to over u in a function of u over u quantity x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, and x sub n. Okay, first thing is compute standard deviation of u using equation 3.12 and then divide by u. Second is compute ln of u and then use equation 3.2 to find standard deviation of ln u, which is equal to standard deviation of u over u. So dito, yung standard deviation ng ln of u is equals to standard deviation of u over u. So ipapakita natin sa example natin mamaya. Okay. Both of the methods work in every instance. So one may use whichever is easiest for a given problem. The choice is usually dictated by whether it is easier to compute, it is to compute partial derivative of u or of ln of u. Okay, dito usually ang ginagamit dito is yung standard deviation ng ln of u. Okay, so proceed tayo sa example. Okay, example number 1. Two perpendicular sides of a rectangle are measured to be x is equal to 2.0, positive and negative 0.1 centimeter, which is the standard deviation, and y is equal to 3.2 plus minus 0.2 centimeter, which is again the standard deviation. So find the relative uncertainty in the area A is equal to xy. Okay, dito sa example natin na number 1, meron tayong two perpendicular sides of a rectangle that are measured as x is equals to 2.0 plus minus 0.1 cm na standard deviation. And y naman is 3.2 plus minus 0.2 na standard deviation. Okay. So, mas mapadali natin ito na ma-compute, yung absolute uncertainty nitong area na to pag nag-extract tayo ng ln both side. So, we have an equation, sa isang rectangle, meron tayong area is equals to xy. X times y. Base times height. Yan yung formula natin sa pagkuha ng area ng isang rectangle. Mag-extract tayo both side ng ln. Okay? ln of A is equals to ln of x and y. We all know naman na ang logarithmic identity, meron tayong logarithmic identity na pag ang ln of A times B magiging ln of B, A, plus ln of B. So, ganyan din ang gagawin natin dito. So mangyayari dito is ln of A is equals to ln of x plus ln of B. Ay, ln of y pala. Y. Okay. Next is, mag-extract naman tayo ng partial derivative both side para makuha natin yung ln of A. Okay. Mag-extract tayo. ln of A is equals to partial derivative of ln of x plus partial derivative of ln of y. So, pwede natin siya mas separate para makuha natin yung partial derivative of ln A with respect to x and partial derivative of ln of A with respect to y. So, kunin muna natin yung value nila. So, partial derivative of ln of A with respect to x muna tayo. So, partial derivative ng ln of x is 1 over x times ang derivative ng x is 1. So, magiging 1 over x. Meron tayong value ng x. Okay, yung value ng x natin is 2.0. Magiging result nito is 1 over 2.0 or 0.50. Okay, proceed naman tayo sa partial derivative ng ln of A with respect to y. So, ang magiging partial derivative ng ln y, we all know naman na ang derivative ng ln y is 1 over y multiplied by ang derivative ng y is 1 equals to magiging 1 over y na lang siya. And given na rin yung value ng ating y. So, 1 over yung value ng ating y, 3.2. So, ang magiging resulta magiging answer natin dito is 0.31. Okay. Proceed tayo sa formula. Yung formula natin is para makuha yung standard deviation ng ln of a, ang maging formula natin is partial derivative of ln of a over x is squared na lang natin. Next is multiplied by standard deviation of x plus is partial derivative ng ln of a with respect to y naman. Then, multiply sa variance of y. So, given ang partial derivative ng ln a with respect to a, which is 0.50, given na rin yung partial derivative ng ln of a with respect to y na 0.31. Yung, hindi given yung variance natin, pero given yung standard deviation natin, i-squared na lang natin. Okay, yung ito, 0.1 and 0.2, yan yung standard deviation natin. Isa-substitute na lang natin yun sa formula. Okay? So, sige. Proceed tayo. Okay. Partial derivative of ln of a with respect to x. Ang value niya is 0.50. 0.50 i-squared natin. Next is the variance of x. So, given lang dito is yung standard deviation. Then, i-squared na lang natin siya para magiging variance siya. Okay. So, ang variance ng x is 0.1 squared plus partial derivative of ln of a with respect to y. Ilan ba yun? 0.31. Okay. 0.31 squared natin. Then, yung standard deviation niya na 0.2, para makuha natin yung variance, i-square na lang natin. 0.2 squared. Okay. Okay. Pag i-compute natin ito, no, makakuha tayo ng value na 0.080. Or, pag i-convert natin ito sa percentage, ang magiging result nito is 8%. Okay. So, in solution, ito yung final answer. But, we have a conclusion here. No? So, the area of a rectangle is 6.4 cm squared plus minus 8%. Paano ba nakuha yung 6.4 cm squared? So, ganito lang yun. Kasi yung area ng isang rectangle is base times height. So, dito sa atin is nag-represent na area is equals to x times y. X is the base, y is the height. So, para makuha natin yon, a is equals to ang value ng x, 2.0 times yung value ng y na 3.2. 3.2. Naka-cm ito. cm yung unit niya. So, pag i-compute natin ito, makakuha tayo ng 6.4 cm squared. That's why nakuha yung 6.4 cm squared. So, that is the relative uncertainty of an area.
Okay, this is our second example. An Atwood machine consists of two masses, x and y. X is greater than y, attached to the ends of a light string that passes over a light frictionless pulley. When the masses are released, the larger mass x, which is x, accelerates down with acceleration. So we have an equation here. A is equal to gravity multiplied by x minus 7 over x plus y. Suppose that x and y are measured as x is equal to 100
plus minus 1g, and y is equals to 50 plus minus 1g. Assume that g, the acceleration due to gravity, is known with negligible uncertainty. Find the relative uncertainty in the acceleration a. Okay, here in our example number 2, we have a given that x is equals to 100 plus minus 1g, which is ang iyang standard deviation. Okay, next is y is equals to 50 plus and minus 1g. Ang standard dito, ang standard deviation ng x is equals to standard deviation to y kasi pareho lang silang 1g. Okay? So, we have an equation. A is equals to g times x minus y over x plus y. Okay. Mag-extract tayo both side ng ln. Okay. So, ln of A is equals to ln of g times x minus y, x plus y, quantity, and yan. Okay. So, as you can see, nakikita natin dito is mayroong multiplication. So, gagamitin pa rin natin yung logarithmic identity na ln of AB is equals to ln of A plus ln of B. Okay. Proceed tayo. ln of A is equals to ln of G plus ln of x minus y, x plus y. Okay. As you can see here, meron tayong division, quotient. No? So, same pa rin. Yung division na ito, gagamitan pa rin natin ng logarithmic identity. So, meron yung logarithmic identity. Katulad nito. ln of A over B is equals to ln of A plus, minus ln of B. So, gagamitin natin yan dito. Okay? So, ln of A is equals to ln of G plus ln of A minus ln of x minus y pala. Paano ba ito? X minus y saka ln of x plus y. Okay. Dito sa ano na ito, i-treat natin yung yung g na to as a constant, no? Magiging constant ito siya kasi meron naman siyang value. So, apply naman tayo ng partial derivative both sides. So, partial derivative ng ln of A, partial derivative of ln of G, plus partial derivative of ln of x minus y, minus partial derivative of ln of x plus y. Okay. So, as you can see here, 'di ba, sabi ko kanina na i-treat ang g na constant. So, ang derivative ng constant is 0. So, magiging 0 na ito siya. Okay? So, ang mangyayari dito is, ang matitira na lang, ln of A is equals to partial derivative of ln of x minus y minus partial derivative ng ln of x plus y. Okay. So, next is, isi-separate natin sila. No? So, mag-separate tayo. Partial derivative. Ang ln of A with respect to x muna tayo. So, ano ba yung partial derivative ng ln of A with respect to x? Okay, so alam naman natin na yung partial derivative ng ln of x minus y is 1 over x minus y. Then, multiplied by derivative ng x kasi with respect to x siya. So, derivative ng x is 1
then minus siya, no? Kasi minus dito yung sign. So, partial derivative ng ln of x plus y is 1 over x plus y, then multiply by derivative of x, kasi with respect to x siya. So, makukuha natin is 1 over x minus y minus 1 over x plus y. Okay. Next naman tayo. Partial derivative ng ln of a with respect to y tayo. So, dito, same pa rin. 1 over x minus y. Ang with respect to y tayo ngayon. So, ang kukunin natin na derivative yung y. So, negative 1. Kasi, negative yung y dito. So, minus 1 over x plus y multiplied by, kasi positive na yung y dito. So, positive rin yung derivative natin dito na 1. Okay? So, makuha natin is negative 1 over x minus y minus 1 over x plus y. Okay? So, yung x and y dito is merong value. So, i-substitute na lang natin. Dito is 1 over 100 minus 50 plus minus pala. Minus minus 1 over 100 plus 50. So, magka-come out tayo ng 0.0133. Next naman tayo. Negative 1 over 100 minus 50 minus 1 over 100 plus 50. So, mag-come out tayo ng negative 0.0267. Okay. Okay. So, itatransfer na natin yung mga given dito kasi hindi na kasya sa kabila. So, x equals to 100 plus minus 1g. Y is equals to 50 plus minus 1g. Then, partial derivative of ln of a with respect to x is equals to 0.0133. Then, partial derivative of ln of a with respect to y is negative 0.0267. Okay. Yan yung mga given natin. So, proceed tayo sa formula. Formula natin is standard deviation of ln of a with square root of partial derivative of ln of a with respect to x, quantity squared, variance of x, plus partial derivative of ln of a with respect to y, squared pa rin, then variance of x. So, substitute na natin yung mga given. Okay? So, 0.0133, the partial derivative of ln of a with respect to x, i-squared na natin, then 1 squared, yung standard deviation, plus partial derivative of ln of a with respect to y, as negative 0.0267, squared natin, then 1 squared, yung standard deviation ng y. Okay, so magka-come out tayo ng 0.030 or 3%. Okay, so this is the answer, 0.030 or 3%, no, in solution. But in conclusion, we have a conclusion here that the relative uncertainty of acceleration is 0.030 or 3%. And take note na hindi ito nagadepende sa gravity. So, yun lang.